Welcome to the pre-match show presented by the Brian Birds Home Selling Team. Score the best deal on a home with the Brian Birds Home Selling Team. Visit brianbirds.com or call 915-751-1500.
West Texas Sky Blue kits tonight for El Paso as they take on the top team in the East, Louisville City FC. This behind-the-scenes look brought to you by GECU. Beautiful, warm July night for a premier USL Championship matchup. East versus West this evening as Locomotive FC hosts Louisville City FC. Welcome into the broadcast booth. Duke Keith joined by Heidi Mochen. You can tell neither one of us won Mega Millions. We're still here. A team also looking to change its fortunes tonight is Locomotive FC, but how lucky are we, Heidi? The last three home matches, we've seen the very best in the USL Championship.
Yes, make no mistake about it. These are the highest quality opponents the USL has to offer. And Lou City, one of the most established clubs in the league from top to bottom. They're always in playoff contention and have won the league in back-to-back years. Oh, and the style that they play, we should see some quality attacking tonight from both sides.
The attack was in effect versus Phoenix Rising. This is the USL Summer Showcase, their first of many. The attack was firing against Phoenix Rising. A lot of really great looks for both teams, but no goals for either side. A 0-0 draw in a midweek ESPN2 matchup. That was 10 days ago, so Louisville City coming into El Paso on plenty of rest and in good form. The only blemish for them, this draw against Phoenix, but they'd won 5 in a row before that, Heidi.
This is a very good team. They like to keep possession. They're a very good passing team. They don't give up goals and are atop the league in goals scored. Locomotive will have their hands full. But when you hear from players and coaches, this is an exciting matchup for El Paso. Yes, back-to-back losses for Locomotive, but you get a top opponent at home where you can quickly turn things around and get a boost of confidence to close out the season and make a playoff push.
And to your point, Heidi, this is a match where El Paso would like to flip that switch and get back to playing their brand of soccer. 1-0 loss for Locomotive last week and a goal that may have been offside, but the area of improvement for Locomotive has to be getting the ball in the back of the net. Only 1 goal in the prior 3 matches. El Paso had been on top, the top attacking team in the championship a month ago, but they're struggling to score.
And lots of different circumstances on why the goals aren't being scored, but head coach John Hutchinson says they've learned a lot from that match against San Antonio last week. There's a focus on getting players in positions where they can be dangerous in front of the goal. We talk about it all the time, Duke. El Paso has been getting shots, but are they quality shots? In the San Antonio match, they only had 1 shot on target. Look for El Paso's key attacking players to put pressure on the Louisville City back line. They've only given up 15 goals the entire season, but we know what this Locomotive attack can do when it's on. And what I like about this matchup is that Louisville will also look at creating chances instead of sitting back like a lot of teams in this league. The game could really open up, and we could see a ton of action. This one should be a lot of fun for us, Duke.
Looking forward to it. Big-time USL Championship action tonight. Locomotive FC versus Louisville City FC. Starting lineups on the other side of the break.
Thank you for watching the pre-match show presented by the Brian Birds Home Selling Team. Score the best deal on a home with the Brian Birds Home Selling Team. Visit brianbirds.com or call 915-751-1500.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic pain treatment, and we even manage stress. At Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain. With 3 convenient locations in El Paso, Southwest Chiropractic. Your health is our well-being. Call us today, 915-581-9619.
Welcome. It is a beautiful and indeed warm evening here in the latter stages of July in El Paso, Texas. Duke Keith and Heidi Mocha with you from Southwest University Park. And it is a big one tonight as Locomotive FC takes on Louisville City FC. Locomotive in those sky blue unis, about ready to kick things off as we take a look at the starting lineups tonight. And point of attack, Lucho Solignac up top along with Aron Gomez. Those are going to be the guys that are key figures tonight, Heidi, for Locomotive.
Absolutely. Lucho got some game minutes, and he wants to get back to his duty to score goals.
And for Louisville City FC, Kyle Morton starting between the goalposts today. Outstanding work all season long and back on top of the Eastern Conference with 43 points. This is a team that knows what it's about and can be direct, but they do like to play with the ball a little bit. It's going to be two teams that like to go at each other.
Right, both of the teams like to keep possession and move through their possession into the attack. So a little bit different than some of the other opponents that we've seen the Locomotive have the opportunity to match up against. So we shall see.
Rolling Hills versus Desert Mountains. We are underway tonight from Southwest University Park in El Paso. Direct over the top, looking for Ownby. And an easy first goal kick for Evan Newton. Or if you prefer, Kentucky Bourbon versus Tequila. Locomotive electing to play out of the back and some immediate pressure. We'll try to keep an eye on some of those Louisville numbers. Jorge Gonzalez flashing out up top to apply some pressure, at least immediately. Locomotive is able to get the switch. And Nick Hines earns a throw off of Ray Serrano. We take a look at our match referee tonight, Gabriel Giusti. The assistant referees, Salma Perez and Francisco Bermudez. Drew Player is our fourth official. Louisville City, as you can tell in the early going, does want to apply some pressure. They get a flick on it, but Hines wisely letting it roll out. As always, Eighth Notch providing the soundtrack for tonight here at Southwest University Park. The atmosphere is jovial. Kind of a little interesting to hear the Christmas music. Christmas in July is the promotion tonight. That's the header back from Andrew Fox for Evan Newton. Yuma. Wonderful to see the Spaniard back wearing the captain's armband. Newton has to hesitate a little bit with Gonzalez on him. Nicely delivered to Nick Hines, who's met by a double if not triple team. That comes up top. Gonzalez trying to control. Well done by his fellow Spaniard. Yuma gets the flick, and that allows Newton to pick it up. So we take a look at our Casa Auto Group keys to the game. What are you looking for tonight, Heidi?
So to start with, Locomotive needs to stay disciplined. So Louisville City is one of the few teams in the East that doesn't just sit back and try to catch opponents in transition. They will try to create chances just like El Paso. So look for there to be a lot of communication from our midfielders and back line. Then quality shots on goal. El Paso's been on a bit of a scoring drought. You can't score if you don't get good, my favorite, shots on target. There was extra attention to this during the week on getting players in dangerous spots. So expect to see El Paso be a lot more ruthless, as head coach John Hutchinson would say. And then regain home form. El Paso's very good here at Southwest University Park. We know they can score in bunches when the attack's on and with these fans. And if Locomotive can get on the board first and get the crowd into it, it can be very hard for opponents to get back into the game.
Andrew Fox taking the steam out of that one. Yuma, good touch by Maris, but doesn't go anywhere he wanted it to. Francois trying to make the pass across, but very active Jorge Gonzalez tracking back to get a piece of that. A little roll in the touch. As we take a look at the Texas Tech Health Report, there are a few bodies out for Locomotive FC. That includes Chapa, as you might expect, Siobhan, Eder Borelli, who continues to nurse that shoulder, and Philip Beigel, who picked up a knock in training last week before the San Antonio match. As such, Tarin Rommel, senior at Franklin High School, out of the academy. Let me reverse that. Rommel Tarin.
Well, he's ready in a pinch.
Yes, indeed. Louisville City earns the corner. Niall McCabe. The Irishman will send it in. Actually, a bit of a training ground attempt, trying to lead one. Might have been offside anyway, as they try to float one to Sean Toch, and the flag does indeed go up.
And that was interesting to see. Usually you see the service into the box the first several times and then change it up after a few of attempts, but Louisville City changes it up a little bit.
And here comes Ownby. It's knocked away by Matt Boehner. And you know that this Locomotive squad certainly wants to show out in front of the home crowd after a couple of losses, including last week against San Antonio. This is the first time this season Locomotive has lost 2 in a row.
Right, but at home, I mean, we saw it last season, and they had a great run this season. I mean, this home can be a fortress between the fans and just the comfort of the players, how they love playing here. I mean, they just need to get back on the board.
Certainly, one of the focuses of tonight is going to be on the other side of the pitch and trying to get Lucho involved in things as Locomotive starts the play out of the back. The Argentine forward certainly wants to pick things up, and for more on Lucho, we go to the third member of our team, Rachel Phillips, down on pitch side. What have you heard from the Argentine leading into this week?
Well, Duke and Heidi, like you guys mentioned, first time for back-to-back losses since the start of the season, where they lost 4 games straight. But nobody on this team is worried about it in their recent lack in form. In fact, Lucho Solignac, as you mentioned, spoke to him earlier in the week, and he said, quote, having these little gaps and losses during the season makes you stop a little bit and rethink things. It's a good time now, instead of having issues during the end of the season and potentially putting at risk a playoff spot, end quote. Lucho went on to say that tonight is the perfect time to turn things around and really make a statement here. And Duke and Heidi, if they can make a statement here against the beast of the East, they'll certainly be putting a lot of teams in the USL on notice.
Indeed. So far, I've got to say, Louisville City's been on Locomotive's half of the pitch quite a bit. El Paso looking for some of that offensive traction here.
They have, and both teams really have. If you look at almost all the play has been right in the middle third, and there hasn't been too much. Louisville has made it into the attacking third a few times, but
here
not
they come
with
again. Rolled up top. Newton will gather. Appreciating the service from Manny Bettis is McCabe, the Irishman.
And that is well handled by Newton, because you saw there was a Lou City player right there ready for any rebound. So that was a huge
playing
save.
his 190th Louisville City match tonight. He has been a member of this team, actually the only member of this Lou City squad that has been there from the absolute beginnings in 2015. And here's Cristiano Francois, the cheetah, getting loose up right wing side. Cave, solid shot, solid save from Newton on the other way. Locomotive, that one doesn't go as far across, I think, as Francois would have liked, with Aron Gomez waiting on the other wing. Here's Hines. It's played back at Chips, and it's deflected. Goes out for a Locomotive corner off of the feet of Ray Serrano.
And I like that idea by Hines. You know, now he's playing left back. We've seen him up front. Now he's in the back with Borelli's injury. But he wants to get into the attack, and he's got that speed as well.
Early possession stats, 60-40 in favor of the visitors, Lou City. The first corner coming up in a good run of a few seconds in the Lou City end for Locomotive FC. Service from Maris. Knocks back out. I think that was Gonzalez who got ahead to it. Locomotive will control. Calvillo, he of the bleach blonde hair. Taking that look a couple of weeks ago.
And look how far up Blue City came to pinch the field, make it very tight to play in.
It's a lead pass to Ownby. Ownby trying to play it back for Gonzalez, but it's, again, Yuma. Right place, right time. Sent out long. Blue City will have it.
And not only is Yuma in the right place, right time, he had the composure to knock that ball to his open left back. I mean, that's the kind of play you get from a veteran.
Kyle Morton. Puts that into touch. New offseason addition. Having been in goal for a number of years, spent the 2021 season though with Houston Dynamo. It's a foul. Some heavy contact by Lou City will give Locomotive the restart. Maris to Liam Rose, the Aussie. Getting a second start in front of the home crowd. Locomotive trying to push it forward, but Lou City trying to drag him into the mud at every available opportunity. Slow down, nip, put it into touch. Better though from Locomotive FC offensively, if they can make something stick. Around from Maris to Rose, and now to Francois. He draws a couple of pairs of feet. Rose and Fox. Aron Gomez playing on left wing will lift one in. Lucho knocked across. The flag is up. Well worked. Locomotive though just advanced past that Louisville back line.
And one of the things that Locomotive needs to take into account is often when there is that high of a offsides trap, the pass they're gonna be off. You need a player to break it on the dribble, then serve that ball across. So I'm not sure who's gonna step up and try to kind of make that happen, but that's typically one of the best ways to make that happen.
And it is interesting, you look at it and it's like everything's spread out right across the middle of the field.
I know a previous player that we used to have that might have loved that opportunity. Moving on.
Speaking of former Major League Soccer players, he's plying his trade with RSL. Well done by Evan Newton to let it roll out. Lou City certainly on the front foot through the early going, and they've had a couple of opportunities. Locomotive beginning to break through, and these are two teams that have spent their time. Lou City at the top right now in terms of goals scored atop the championship. Locomotive had that for a while. They've dried up a bit, Rachel Phillips, but not a whole lot. Let's see how this comes through. Ownby. It'll be picked up by Evan Newton, but Rachel, certainly Locomotive wants to get back in the front foot. They're facing the team that is on the front foot right now in the championship.
Yeah, of course, Duke. Both of these teams are in the top 5 for goals scored this season. The difference, though, being that Louisville have consistently scored goals all season long. In their past 5, they've scored 12 goals. The Locos, on the other hand, have had a steep drop-off in goals scored. In their past 5 games, they've scored just 3 goals. And for the last 2 games, they've been held scoreless. In fact, between those 2 games, they've created just 1 shot on target. Head coach John Hutchinson said during the week he wants to see them go back to being that dangerous team with the ball and creating opportunities, and it's something they've been working really hard on during the week. So expect to see them finding players in more space and creating those opportunities here tonight.
Onby, that was hopeful, looking for Ray Serrano. Blue City certainly working it around. There's McCabe. Deflected on the touch, and it'll bounce Maris's way. Good sidestep. The man from Zionsville, Indiana. Out to his right back. Matt Painter up to the cheetah. Francois, this is what Locomotive wants to see. The layoff. Calvillo can't sneak it through. That's well done. Gonzalez able to clear that out. But Locomotive starting to make things happen. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I liked how the ball got played out to Francois. He took the space, he made it there, attacked it, put Blue City on the defensive, and then Calvillo was there to get that nice easy pass. A little better strike onto the frame. Might have been better, but I mean that's the speed they're showing with what Francois can do on that flank.
Well, certainly, and he's going to be key, I think, if Locomotive wants to break things down up that right wing, and they've been able to start to find him.
And
First,
they did.
Oh, a caution issued to the Lou City bench. I don't know if that's to head coach Danny Cruz in his first full season as the acknowledged head coach. And it is indeed a caution issued to Danny Cruz. I'm not sure why he has felt upset. Lou City has certainly been on the front foot most of the time. But a good switch here to Aron Gomez. Aron tries his shot, and that's knocked away. Good backtracking by the Irishman McCabe. Flag is up as Fox tried to loft one over, but indeed you see Louisville City. Everything is scrunched right in the middle.
Yes, they are making that field compact, and they make it compact quickly.
It is incredible.
And that is an awareness that all the field players for Locomotive are going to have. I mean, the strikers need to get on, and the midfielders and defenders cannot play that ball because it's going to be offsides.
Here Serrano tries to cross, and it's off of Liam Rose for a Lou City corner. Their second of the night. This is a team that in Lou City that has outscored its opposition 4-1 in the first 15 minutes. Locomotive has survived that initial onslaught. But again, 21 goals on the road for Lou City, the leading scoring team in the USL Championship right now. There's Oscar Jimenez, in-swinger, settles down and popped back out. That's off of Lou City, and I think Gonzalez got a touch in the scrum right there at the edge of the 6. Goal kick coming, let's see. Instead, Wilson Harris, forward out of Los Angeles, late of Sporting KC. Spent preseason this season with Toronto FC, but decided he wanted some games and comes to the championship. Foul on Locomotive will give the restart to Lou City. It'll be McCabe to throw it back in. All the way through, knocked in and saved Evan Newton. They got it right where they wanted it to. Wilson Harris waiting for it. The 23-year-old out of Los Angeles steers it right to a waiting Evan Newton, who draws the praise from the crowd. On the spot.
And Newton smartly handles that one.
But whether it's on restarts, and it's, you know, they're not dribbling past guys to get their offense. Louisville City will work the ball around as here is Gomez. He'll earn Locomotive a corner on the other side. So more traditional movement of the ball, but this is a team that has come out to play tonight, as opposed to last weekend.
They are not just sitting back or waiting for Locomotive to make a mistake and then to take advantage of that. They are keeping possession and pushing the pace of the attack and trying to get their chances and get on the board. And that might be why their coach maybe is a little frustrated, how you'd mentioned earlier, that they're used to scoring. They're used to outscoring their opponents. They're used to doing what they want. So, I mean, Locomotive is doing a nice job of also getting possession. I'd like to see a little bit more urgency once they are in the attack to get that shot, to get the chance. I mean, they're having some chance to get forward, and now they need to say, the only way we're going to win is if we get that ball in the back of the net.
Into the 21st minute, that corner, I don't know if that was by design to pop it out to Lucho, but it pops off of him over the byline. So not necessarily what Locomotive was looking for, I think, on that corner restart. Rachel Phillips' urgency is the order of the day, is it not?
You're completely right, Duke. After that 1-0 loss to San Antonio, Lucho's immediate reaction was they just didn't show enough fight and hunger to win the game. And he told me it's not something he's worried about being a problem in future games, though, because he says it's the best team he's ever trained with, and he thinks that sets them apart, and it will show on the field. But really wanted to see a lot of fight and hunger here from his teammates as well as from himself.
Well done, Tyler Gibson with the foul, and here is Cristiano Francois. The Cheetah pops one to the far post. It's over Aaron Gomez's head. Gomez.
He has a way of keeping things in play.
Hines, that's a nice thought. Lifted out of trouble by Tosh. Here is Liam Rose. Rose playing that defensive midfield position. Yuma taken away. Working for it. Looking for the opportunity. Yuma saves that one off of Harris. Harris with the steal. Yuma did well to slow him down and then just couldn't sort out his feet.
Yep, I mean, on defense.
And here's Lucho, too far ahead. Good thought by Dylan Maris, but easily swallowed up by Kyle Morton.
And Yuma he definitely was patient. He delayed. We'd like to always say, we say a tie is a win for the defense. If the defender can not allow the attack to continue to go forward at pace, that is, often they will make an error, or you'll get help back, or you'll end up getting to block, a chance on goal. So that was great defending by him.
Kyle Morton and Evan Newton tied with 8 clean sheets atop the USL Championship this season. Of course, Newton, the all-time leader in the USL Championship with 58 shutouts. Cristiano Francois does well to deflect that, and he'll receive it back. Got it away from Jimenez. And here's Francois, the long cross. Back the first time. Aaron Gomez gets it to pop off the ground. The one-hopper handled by Kyle Morton. How much balance and effort does it take to make something like that happen, Heidi? First time.
Right. It is a lot harder than Aaron Gomez makes it look. Let's just put it that way. He'll make it look effortless, but it is not. It's a lot of timing and hard work.
Out of the back looking for McCabe. Here's Ownby to clean it up. Ownby to the far post, and it'll go wide by Harris. Aaron Gomez. Great service, good thought by Francois, but it takes something to pull that one out of midair with your left foot and steer it on frame. And
if that strike, if the bounce off of that strike is just a little different, it might have been a little more difficult for the keeper to handle, and ends up bobbled or into the back of the net. So.
Here's Hines, and that is going to be a foul. As Manny Perez draws the contact from Aaron Gomez, who sees a yellow card. So the caution issued to Gomez here with the 25th. Pleading his case with Gabriel Giusti, our referee. First on-field yellow of the night belongs to El Paso's all-time leading goal scorer. The man who spent his first 3 seasons on loan to Locomotive FC finally signs a deal last season. Oh, you know, just leading the entire franchise in goals scored.
Not too shabby.
27 goals in 84 matches for Aaron Gomez. The man from Canatlan, Durango, was born here in El Paso, as a matter of fact. Francois. It was a good thought, but a bit off target, looking for Calvillo. There's somebody I think that Locomotive would like to see get more touches about this time. Eric Calvillo. We've barely heard from him tonight.
Exactly. And that's where we got Lou City, you know, kind of knocking the ball around and keeping possession like we're used to seeing the Locomotive be on the higher end of that.
Locomotive over 60% coming into tonight. Average possession. It has been the opposite here this evening. Although Locomotive has done better, it's down to about a 5% split. 52.5 to 47.5. Patiently working, neither team able to get anything truly solid so far. Lucho will roll it into Aaron Gomez. Back it comes, and too far ahead. Although it's knocked out for a corner. Lucho, is that a miscommunication, a missed pass, or did Lucho just not continue the run?
I mean, it was a well-driven ball across on the ground.
Wow.
Whew. And it was in that little space, and he just.
Do you think it was just that niggle of doubt in the back of your mind? Am I offside?
That
because
definitely could be it, because that's been time and time again. But that was like the perfectly weighted and placed.
They wanted to get it to Fox in the box. He lifted out.
But Louisville City knows that.
Indeed, and here is Fox. He'll deflect out for a throw. Good work by Liam Rose to flash out and help. But Andrew Fox, the Englishman, the intended target. Locomotive has done well on set pieces throughout. They've kind of had one effort fizzle and another one handled. Switch of the field. Yuma with Ownby flashing. In defense, we'll get it to Francois. Good tackle by Ownby, but Locomotive continues to cycle it. Calvillo, Boehner, Francois. The Haitian International. To Boehner's played up on the byline and knocked over for another corner. Locomotive finding its way through.
And Boehner, I was just thinking, he's been kind of quiet over there, but effective. know. And there this time, though, we see him get forward and become part of that combination to get that ball across and earn this corner.
Dylan Maris places everyone. Action. Far post, that is headed by Fox, but nowhere near on frame. The backtrack kind of floated over his head a bit. Good back heel by Yuma. Flag is up. And the Louisville back line does its job again.
They did.
Into the 30th minute tonight on a warm El Paso evening. Straight to Boehner. Chested down, Calvillo. Good touch to Lucho. They know where they want to go with it. Francois. Knocked over for another El Paso corner. Tosh.
Lou City's not taking any chances there. They're not. I don't think they were certain exactly what the runners were in the box, but did not want to take a risk and give up another corner.
Certainly slightly more physical, slightly taller is Lou City coming into this than El Paso. Why not take your chances? Make El Paso beat you through the air. And it is Maris. Low drive. It's knocked by Francois. Did have to be covered, but it is by Kyle Morton. Morton, 6'4", out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. They say spent last season with the Houston Dynamo in MLS. Hines is going to be whistled for the foul. Manny Perez taken down, and Hines gets a word of warning and further conversation from our referee, Gabriel Giusti. Lou City. Niall McCabe is back there, along with Jimenez. McCabe, the Irishman out of Dublin, Ireland.
Ooh, that magic spray came out. That's a solid 10 yards. That is.
Goodness.
That is a
yeah.
strong 10 yards. I don't think I've seen a 10 yards like that in the last 2 seasons doing this.
So you're saying it could be more than 10 yards?
I used to have my pacing it out, but
It'll be McCabe. Outswinger, too far. Locomotive throw.
I think we both can agree. I don't think we've seen 10 yards that long since this year. And maybe
That's
it's the
like,
correct amount of 10 yards, you know.
That's
Maybe it's been less generous in other matches.
That is maybe one of those football lines where it's 10 yards until you get to 11, and then it's 11 yards. Knock back for Fox. Hines. How wonderful is it to have the team captain in Yuma? He's been back for a couple of weeks from that injury suffered a few weeks back.
Yeah, I mean,
he's so important.
He is an invaluable member. I mean, you cannot really put a huge specific value because when you don't see the things that he brings that aren't even on the pitch, you know.
And very dangerous pass though across, and Fox does handle it. Playing in his 81st match, the Spaniard from Madrid.
Yeah, he's a leader, and he's a competitor beyond all things, you know.
Has a knack of being in the middle of stuff, doesn't he?
He's fiery.
Indeed. Master of the dark arts sometimes. But there you go. Hines knocked off. No foul called. Goal kick. Tosh. Hines played it up. Tosh held his ground.
Yeah,
in the end, good call.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Sean Tosh, big man from Oswego, Illinois. You want to talk about Lou City indeed being one of the stalwarts of the championship. Where Andrew Fox is standing now, the retractable pitcher's mound, which was invented by a former owner of Louisville City, Wayne Estopinal. The Esto retractable mound. Louisville City needed it when they played at Louisville Slugger Park before they opened Lynn Family Stadium. Of course, Locomotive and Mountain Star Sports Group with designs on opening their own venue for its soccer franchise, as did Lou City. Someday, somewhere, but right now they've got the Esto retractable mound to help things out. As Calvillo's taken down. Somebody wants a yellow card. Andrew Fox trying to sort things out at the left wing side, and here's Hines. Flag is up. Francois continues. The flag was up well before this. And again, Louisville City doing what Louisville City does. This is a team that does not allow a lot of goals. And Rachel Phillips with more on that back line, which has earned, well, I'll try to do the counting while Rachel speaks about the offside trap.
Yeah, Duke and Heidi, I mean, they're going up against one of the top teams in defense. In Louisville's 20 games this season, they have had 10 clean sheets, meaning they've held half of their teams they've faced this season scoreless. In the games where their opposition managed to get through their rock-solid defense, they've only let in 15 goals. Their keeper is at the forefront of it all, recording 8 of those clean sheets. But he's also only had to face 54 shots because their back line just doesn't let much get past them. So it's a tough recipe for the Locos tonight, trying to find the back of the net against a top defense right when they're having a goal scoring and even shots created slump. But as you've seen here tonight, the Locos certainly creating a lot more opportunities than what we've seen in their past 2 games.
That was the 5th offside call on Locomotive FC.
Yeah.
Against none for Louisville City. But to that end, Louisville City has found the going offensively a little tougher. Locomotive has switched the tables a bit and now controls the possession 53.5 to 46.5. Flag is up, a 6th flag for offside on El Paso.
Right, I mean, the Locomotive players have to have the awareness and the self-discipline not to play that kind of a ball. I mean, by the time they look up, look down, and the runner's starting, he's going to be offsides. Louisville sees it too. They can read it as well, and they communicate, and their defense is well organized on that.
Here's the cross, Gonzalez. That goes wanting.
I mean, that is a situation, like I've said, they're too far back because it's our defense playing it, but that's where you need the deep runner, or you need a lateral run, and then you bend off of it. They cannot just do a straight up and down the field run.
It's good work by Brian Ownby, 32-year-old midfield forward. He's more of a winger, but has been forced by injury to more of a central forward's role for Louisville City this year. They do have a few out. Tangling for the ball. Carbon Bone, Cameron Lancaster, one of their better scorers, Josh Winder, USL Mid-Season Award winner for Young Player of the Year. Ian Soler out as well. Here comes Louisville City again. Lifted out by Yuma. Amadou Dia, though, missing as well from this lineup. This was young man talked about in Louisville City's game notes. Not necessarily a young man, he's a 29-year-old, but one of the keys to that defense. The cross by McCabe. Brought down, taken away by Yuma. The Spaniard does his thing. Got it across, trying to find Gonzalez, the team captain. Takes his turn being applauded by Eighth Notch. Into the 40th minute here in the first half. Locomotive better on the ball through these last few minutes, and the man who keys a lot of that working his way up the left wing. Ron Gomez, great sliding tackle though. It's well done by Oscar Jimenez, actually Manny Perez. On that slide tackle. They'll work it out to Hines again. Hines crossing and flashing in front, Lucho. Flag is up anyway. I do believe this went out for a goal kick. All eyes on assistant referee Juan Salma Perez on that Locomotive right wing here in half number one. She might be happy to give that up to Francisco Bermudez, the other assistant referee for half number two.
Yes, she is keeping busy.
Rachel Phillips, the third member of our team. Locomotive trying to find the feet of number 9, Lucho, tonight. With varying degrees of success. He's had a few touches, as he did right there, but no real solid opportunities for the Argentine.
Yeah, they certainly have been trying to find the feet of Lucho. He slammed the ground down after he missed that opportunity for a goal just a couple of minutes ago. When we look at Lucho, he is the team's leading goal scorer. But in his last 6 appearances, he's actually had more red cards with 2 than goals scored with 1. Lucho told me during the week that he's never missed so many games that weren't because of injuries, and it's been quite frustrating to come and go. But he's really excited to play tonight and get back-to-back games underneath his belt and do his job for the team in scoring goals. You can see the desperation from him in trying to score some here tonight for the Locomotive.
Ownby's cross handled easily by Liam Rose there. We talked about it. It's just his 16th match for Locomotive this season, and injuries, the red card suspensions, and of course the celebration of the birth of his first child.
But what I'd like to see is, you know, visibly, we can see the frustration that he is having playing out there, and that usually does not help someone get out of that zone. You know, it's a double-edged sword.
Doing well to get there in time is Perez, but his cross had to exert so much effort to get to the byline, really couldn't steer it anywhere. It'll be a Locomotive throw as Nick Hines is down nursing some cramps, and actually it's going to be a Texas Tech nod to the dock. Well, defensive backs, it's been like the drummer in Spinal Tap this season for Locomotive FC.
It has.
And hopefully Nick Hines as well. Ricardo Ruiz with our Texas Tech nod to the dock. Locomotive's team trainer on to take a look. For the young man from Kingston, Jamaica. 24 years old, and speaking of MLS experience, Nashville SC, his last club. Now over 100 USL Championship matches. Rachel Phillips confirming that Ander and Miles Lyons are both warming up on the touchline for Locomotive FC. But I'm seeing thumbs up from Ricardo Ruiz, so maybe give Nick Hines a breather. As the team trainer for Locomotive. Signals back to John Hutchinson and the Locomotive bench. And Hines should be ready to get back into the match shortly. Walking off under his own steam, get a little bit of that magic spray. I've never felt the magic spray, Heidi. How is the magic spray?
You know, I have actually not had to use the magic spray.
Never?
Either. Well, I don't know if it was around when I was in college and playing at that high competitive level.
Okay.
Or we just didn't have it.
Sure, that could be.
They didn't have the magic foam for the referees either.
No, that has been a more recent addition.
I'll have to see if I can get my hands on some, and we can
experiment.
I bet I know somebody that can get me some.
Okay. Yeah, magic spray hookup. Psst, he wants some magic spray. That's floated in. Boehner sails wide by Ownby. It will be a Lou City throw.
That touch was huge right there by Boehner because they had, was that Ownby just waiting for that to drop at his feet.
McCabe will sail that one over the byline. Good thought by Ray Serrano. We're hearing 1 minute of stoppage time as we approach the end of the first half. And yes, Nick Hines is back on the pitch. USL's all-time leader in clean sheets and in saves. And you heard him when he was announced as our estrella of the match last match. He'd rather not be leading anybody in saves. And to that point, Rachel Phillips just brought up Kyle Morton, who's only had to face so many saves this season because of that stalwart back line for Lou City. That's what you want to see. No goalkeeper wants to lead the league in saves. But Evan Newton happy to assume that mantle if that means the ball's out of the back of the net.
Exactly. If you have saves and a clean sheet, you'll take it.
There you go.
And a win.
And the dub. Exactly. The full three.
Let's ask for all, the trifecta.
That pass a bit behind Bettis, and it'll roll out for a Locomotive throw. Into our stoppage time, and as a matter of fact, at the end of it, Hines in the throw in. And that is going to be that for the first half of play. No score on a warm El Paso July evening between Louisville City atop the Eastern Conference at 43 points, Locomotive in 5th in the West with 33. We've got a lot more in store for you. The GECU halftime show coming up next. Rachel, along with Heidi and myself, will be back. Stick around. 0-0 at the break. Locomotive in Lou City.
From El Paso's only Ford President's Award winner, introducing the Casa Pre-Owned Advantage at Casa Ford.
It's the advantage of a bigger selection with over 500 vehicles to choose from. It's the advantage of easy financing to get you approved, along with a 6-month, 6,000-mile limited warranty included with every vehicle. It's the advantage of our 7-day cashback promise, so you can shop with ease. Casa Ford is much more than just great new vehicles. Discover the Casa Pre-Owned Advantage today at Casa Ford.
Welcome to the GECU Halftime Show. Manage your accounts 24/7 with GECU Online Banking, the GECU mobile app, and GECU ATMs. Learn more at gecu.com.
Welcome back. That is West Star Tower and Hunt Plaza. 0-0 at the break. Locomotive FC versus Louisville City FC. It has been slightly better as the game has progressed for Locomotive, but no team with some real clear opportunities this evening. Duke Keith along with Heidi Mocha with you. Let's take a look at matches from Wednesday and what else happened around the USL Championship. And yeah, you're reading that right. It's not a typo. Birmingham Legion 6-1 over Loudoun United. Oakland Roots SC and Phoenix Rising battling to a 0-0 draw. Phoenix, of course, battling 0-0 with Louisville City in the Summer Showcase about a week and a half ago. Rio Grande Valley 0-0 with Hartford Athletic. And San Antonio FC on the road 2-0 over Las Vegas Lights FC. So we take a look at the Western Conference standings. San Antonio FC, as you see, leading the entire league with 49 points. They continue to be full value on the road. San Diego Loyal next with 40, tied with Switchbacks FC, starting to try and right its ship. New Mexico United in fourth position with 35 points, followed by Locomotive. Knight 8-6, 33 points, above that seventh place playoff line. Las Vegas Lights is atop the right side of that line as well with 31 points. Sac Republic FC, 30 points. And they're doing this with all of their Open Cup action. We'll talk about that in the second half. LA Galaxy 2, though, on the outside looking in, as are Roots and Phoenix Rising, with RGV and Orange County bringing up the rear. Taking a look at storylines around the USL, check out where El Paso lands in the USL Championship's weekly power rankings. Visit uslchampionship.com for more. That's also where you can vote and see the team of the week and plays of the week. Visit uslchampionship.com for all of that business. Saves of the week, goals of the week, and more. And of course, Sacramento FC, huge win against MLS's Sporting KC, winning on penalties 5-4. Sacramento advances to the final against Orlando City. That is going to be played on September the 7th in Orlando. Sacramento beat 3 MLS teams to make it to the final. That's Galaxy, San Jose, and Sporting, becoming the first lower division club since 2008 to reach the U.S. Open Cup final. That would be Charleston Battery, who got there but didn't win. If they won, they'd be the first lower division side this century to win the Open Cup. The last one, the Rochester Raging Rhinos from back in the 1990s. That would be outstanding. Here in El Paso, Texas, at Southwest University Park, it's 0-0 at the break. Luchador masks out in full effect. 0-0, Locos and Louisville.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park. The score in this one is Locomotive 0, Louisville City 0. It's a beautiful night here out at Southwest University Park. Here we're going to see how the Locomotives attack. We're getting some forward runs going and getting the balls served across. Lucho is just, there's a perfectly weighted ball, and Lucho just missing out on his timing right now. Here's another chance. Ball gets out to Nick Hines. Serves it just right in the middle, and Lucho just can't get there, stretches, and you can see the frustration there. But the Locomotive, although has already 5 shots tonight and 2 on target. Here's Lucho again with the ball at his feet. Sets it out to the flank, and great ball by Gomez across. Lucho's getting that ball. He's kind of getting his game sea legs back, and looking to get into the back of the net tonight. I'd like to see the Locomotive continue to get those forward runs going and keep it on the attack, and just have that urgency to get on the end of that ball and put it into the back of the net. And in this game, the score is El Paso 0, Louisville City 0. We'll be back.
Now, from El Paso's only Ford President's Award winner, introducing the Casa Pre-Owned Advantage at Casa Ford.
It's the advantage of a bigger selection with over 500 vehicles to choose from. It's the advantage of easy financing to get you approved, along with a 6-month, 6,000-mile limited warranty included with every vehicle. It's the advantage of our 7-day cashback promise, so you can shop with ease. Casa Ford is much more than just great new vehicles. Discover the Casa Pre-Owned Advantage today at Casa Ford.
El Paso's #1 certified pre-owned Nissan dealer introduces the Casa Pre-Owned Advantage at Casa Nissan.
It's the advantage of a bigger selection with over 500 vehicles to choose from. It's the advantage of certified pre-owned Nissans covered by a 7-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. It's the advantage of our 7-day cashback promise, so you can shop with ease. Casa Nissan is more than just great new vehicles. Discover the Casa Pre-Owned Advantage today at Casa Nissan.
Welcome back, everybody. That is the renovated Plaza Hotel here in downtown El Paso. As evening sets in the Sun City, Duke Keith along with Heidi Mocha, as 0-0 at the break is our score. Locomotive FC and Lou City FC. Each team with 5 shots, each team with 2 on target, each team with that shot accuracy of 40. It has been very much a back and forth affair in possession, passing accuracy, everything almost split right down the middle, Heidi.
Yeah, very evenly matched. I mean, the main difference is that offsides, and the Locomotive, they're creating some chances. If they can get that time, if they can figure out that offsides piece, then I could see them having have a good chance of getting into the back of the net. I mean, 5 shots already and 2 on target for Locomotive, a little different than last match.
We'll see what John Hutchinson is able to do at the break.
So before we head to break, let's take a moment to recognize our Hospitals of Providence employee highlight. Tonight we feature Jessica Bertato, Director of Laboratory at the Hospitals of Providence East Campus. Jessica is a dedicated healthcare worker committed to ensuring the highest quality standards for all lab testing and test reports for patients. Thank you, Jessica, for the critical role you play in ensuring the health and well-being of our community.
0-0 at the break. Lou City, El Paso Locomotive FC. More coming up, along with highlights in the second half when we continue with the GECU halftime show.
Thank you for watching the GECU Halftime Show. Manage your accounts 24/7 with GECU Online Banking, the GECU mobile app, and GECU ATMs. Learn more at gecu.com.
Now, from El Paso's only Ford President's Award winner, introducing the Casa Pre-Owned Advantage at Casa Ford.
It's the advantage of a bigger selection with over 500 vehicles to choose from. It's the advantage of easy financing to get you approved, along with a 6-month, 6,000-mile limited warranty included with every vehicle. It's the advantage of our 7-day cashback promise so you can shop with ease. Casa Ford is much more than just great new vehicles. Discover the Casa Pre-Owned advantage today at Casa Ford.
El Paso's #1 certified pre-owned Nissan dealer introduces the Casa Pre-Owned advantage at Casa Nissan.
It's the advantage of a bigger selection with over 500 vehicles to choose from. It's the advantage of certified pre-owned Nissans covered by a 7-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. It's the advantage of our 7-day cashback promise so you can shop with ease. Casa Nissan is more than just great new vehicles. Discover the Casa Pre-Owned advantage today at Casa Nissan.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park in downtown El Paso. Duke, Keith, Heidi Mocha, Rachel Phillips with you as we are scoreless at the half between Locomotive FC and Lou City FC. But not without some efforts on the part of both teams, each with 2 shots on net. That's the Irishman Niall McCabe early going. Evan Newton forced into a pretty solid save. And that one led wide. Wilson Harris in the restart. McCabe sending into the box. Harris again, challenging, but Evan Newton has been up to the task. Both opportunities, but then the tide started to turn El Paso's way, Heidi, especially on this first-time effort by El Paso's all-time leader, Aaron Gomez. Then, Gomez able to deliver inside, looking for Lucho, just not able to get that squared out. As we head down to Rachel Phillips, looking for what's going to happen here in half number 2. Rachel, what can you tell us about John Hutchinson's thought coming into the second half?
Yeah, Duke, we saw 6 offsides called against the Locomotive there in the first half. He said that's something they're definitely going to talk about. But he said the key for him is really just making sure they get more possession. He says there's still spaces and gaps they can exploit, and he wants to see them have the ball to be able to exploit those gaps and then create more opportunities.
Thanks very much, Rachel. And yes, you're going to just try to beat that offsides trap. That has been absolutely critical for Lou City to keep Locomotive at bay. Still, though, we pointed out the stats, even except for that one. And it will be Ander coming in to replace Nick Hines. So Locomotive's woes on the wing, defensive wing, continue. Spaniard out of Gexto, Spain. Lots of family connections up in Idaho. Dual citizen, Ander, making his way onto the pitch for Locomotive FC.
Yeah, and they pushed Foxy out to the left.
It'll be interesting to see how things work their way around as Locomotive.
Last season we got to see him on the outside a little more. He's basically been that pairing with Yuma.
Aaron Gomez steers it up top. Lucho looking for the feedback. Dribbles one, deflected, covered by Morton. Right out of the gate, though.
That's
exactly
good.
What you want to see.
Exactly. I wish Lucho, I would like to see him try to maybe get that shot off a little bit sooner, because then he ended up going away from goal and having to try to come back around. At least he did pull the trigger, but a little quicker trigger.
Tosh, good pressure by Aaron Gomez, but is able to steer out for Lou City. The loose dangling pass, they'll lift that one forward for Ownby. A good job by Ander. And El Paso will give off a corner here.
And they really need to stay focused right now, especially with a change in the back line. Ander in and Foxy out to the side. They have to be really communicate well. Help each other on defense.
Lou City on the restart, lifted wide to the far post. Fox, speaking of, is there to pop that one in the air for Evan Newton. Down to Rachel Phillips, and Rachel, yes, we talked about the attack what John Hutchinson wants to see coming forward, but coming back, Heidi just mentioned the substitution. That's a critical area now for Locomotive FC.
It certainly is. That one a very big stop there from the back line of the Locomotive for many reasons. Like you mentioned, Andrew Fox being slid out there to the left side and Ander coming in. But on top of that, the 47th minute is when we saw San Antonio score against the Locomotive last week. That lapse in focus. They got out of it just then. 47th minute, no goal scored. Now it's about continuing that defense and ensuring they set up their attack for success.
Francois. Locomotive certainly bright in the attack in the early going. Calvillo to Fox. Delivers short to Aron Gomez. Fox. Defended well by Perez. Knock it back and around. Liam Rose to reset. The Spaniard, Yuma. Playing it forward. That is onside. Fox to Aron Gomez to Calvillo. Forward for Fox. Well tended to by Perez. Knocked out for a Locomotive throw.
And a little bit more continuing on the statistics as far as goals in this time frame. On the road, Louisville City, they have scored 5 goals in minutes 46 through 60, and they've allowed their opponents 3 goals. So that is, in a match, that's the most number of goals that they give up during this time period. So Locomotive, we want to see them take advantage of that.
Flag is up and finally recognized. So your turn, Francisco Bermudez. Salma Perez probably liking to be able to pass that one off to the other AR.
Okay, one. Let's
Right.
see who's gonna. Hopefully he will lose the offside call game.
7th offside called against Locomotive FC. Took a little bit for our referee Gabriel Giusti to see that. Locomotive solid pressure. Blue City trying to work it out. Wes Sharpie out of the back for Ownby. Well done by Boehner. Knocked back to Newton.
And I have to say, Boehner this season has been asked to play just about every role on defense. I mean, that's not the easiest thing to do.
Good deflection, won by Lou City. Excellent defense, though, applied by Maris in the middle of the park. Locomotive on the counter. Fox from Gomez. Again out to meet Fox is Manny Perez. Fox gets the cross. Lucho. That's juicy. Calvillo will have a go. Deflected, covered by Morton. Couple of good early opportunities for Locomotive FC.
Yeah, that run by Foxy to get up was help push that play and making it happen. But now, Locomotive has to get back and help on defense.
That's the cross. A little too far and right into the midst of Evan Newton. Out of that right wing side, Ray Serrano. Newton will boot this long under pressure. Tosh to get ahead to it. The foul whistled against Calvillo. Gibson here on the restart. Tyler Gibson out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Played with Indy 11. His second season, though, with Lou City. 30-year-old central midfielder. Knocked around. Jimenez. From centrally. McCabe. Slid in. Knocked over for the corner kick. Good thought by Serrano.
And that was an interesting run of play there to see, because I felt like the combination and the possession that Lou City had looked a lot like Locomotive when they have been able to pull the field wide, knock it from player, slip it into the middle, and then create an attacking chance. That was they're finding that space between.
Wilson Harris was the target. Yuma, the interloper. McCabe has rolled this one, edge of the box, knocked in! Getting a touch to that is Jorge Gonzalez. 1-0, Lou City. In the 52nd minute. Off the restart, it caught Locomotive by surprise. And a first-time redirect by Gonzalez to the far corner.
A driven ball and a first-time simple touch, redirect on frame, and then there's a little bit of a screen deeper in the box, but no Locomotive players directly in front.
Lucho tried to make the run, but Gonzalez, the Spaniard, first on the scene, and that will give Louisville City the start they wanted here in El Paso.
The defense cannot let the attackers be first to the ball. That is just not committing, and you either need to be there, you know, if a 50-50 ball, you both better be there at the same time, but that's a little bit too much room.
So it is on Locomotive FC to respond. As bright a start as they had to open things up in the second half, it is Lou City finding the opener. Ownby overcooked that one. Down to Rachel Phillips for the reaction from Locomotive's crowd after that goal.
Yeah, Duke completely dejected from the crowd, just absolute silence there for at least a minute. They're now back up loud and proud, supporting their Locomotive, knowing that they need their support to get back in this game. We talked about it right out of the half, how this is exactly what the Locomotive needed to avoid getting that early goal scored against them in the second half. Looking to change things around now. A couple of guys warming out here, Richie Ryan as well as Emmanuel Sanupe, getting rested and warmed up, and I expect them to come onto the field and make an impact for the Locomotive.
Certainly set-piece defense is a big deal. Lucho looked disappointed after, or at least on the replay, not only to be second to the ball, but I think he was not expected to be put in that, or not expecting to be put in that position.
Right.
It's what it seemed
I'd like to, you know, I'm sure they'll look at it and break it down and see where were the matchups, who likely should have gone with that runner. And there's just, it's a communication, sorting things out.
McCabe out along that left wing now to Ownby. And well done by Newton. Tapped out for a corner kick. Great work around that left side. Oscar Jimenez. Ownby with a full head of steam.
And way for Ander to stay with that ball, stay with that play.
Good save from Evan Newton in the end.
Yeah, that was big time.
Certainly for Lou City. Ownby with 7 goals in the season, right behind Wilson Harris. The corner kick, far post, that's knocked back into the middle. Francois first on it. He has a little room to roam. Cut back inside, good deflection. Great way to stay home, Jimenez. That was important. McCabe. Sliding in front. There, they'll see their way through it. That'll be a foul. Wilson Harris nipping at Liam Rose's heels. Yuma as Locomotive tries to work that left wing again. Fox, Gomez. And again, that's excellent defense. Manny Bettis just shut the door because he knew if he let Aron Gomez have a step, trouble was brewing.
Absolutely. Put the Jets on.
Manny Bettis, 31 years old, out of Garner, North Carolina. Headed down straight for a waiting Harris. Jetting up top of the box, Ownby. Crossing, another corner kick coming. Oscar Jimenez. That one off of Boehner.
Locomotive is trying to absorb the pressure, but in that situation, they're all retreating. There has to be a man that goes to the ball, tries to put the pressure on and delay. Locomotive had numbers.
Put it into the middle. Slipped it out. And over the bar. Good job by Ander. Blue City's Wes Sharpie gets a touch and the shot, but up and over it goes. Blue City certainly smelling blood in the water. Chested, Boehner pops up on him. Throw in for Blue City. Well, El Paso, this is the thing about soccer. You can't call a timeout and go run to your coach. You can hope for fouls and restarts, but really it's up to you as the player on the pitch.
Right.
To deal with whatever's thrown at you mentally and emotionally as well as physically.
And that's kind of the beauty of soccer. I mean, trainings.
It really is.
The coaches, you know, they want to teach you what they would like you to do, how they want you to then teach you how to solve the problems on the field, because the game time is players' time. They are the ones ultimately have to solve the problems, find the solutions.
Well, Locomotive seem to have found a few offensive solutions, at least in terms of opportunities, but it is Blue City on the corner kick. It has found the back of the net first this evening. Here's Ownby. Crossing, top of the area. Into the area, lifted back out by Yuma. Play on, says the referee, and around the corner, steamed out. It'll be Yuma bringing that down as he's taken down to the box. The dark arts applied there. Yes. Manny Perez at full steam ahead. Gets it to Jimenez and played in. Or rather, Ray Serrano.
Draw the foul and get an easy restart, or have to, like, get the ball out of that mixer.
Yuma knows what he's doing. Played into space again. Ownby's rocket cross. Out for a goal kick.
And Blue City seems to be playing like they have a little jump in their step. You know, they gained a little bit of confidence after putting that goal in the back of the net. Locomotive, you know, give them credit. They're still fighting. They're still out there, but they have not figured out how to. They're absorbing pressure and haven't figured out how to relieve the pressure consistently without letting them come back at them yet.
2022 League 2 playoffs are in full swing. Reach the second weekend of matches. Watch all the action Friday and Saturday. USLLeague2.com for more information on how to watch and follow all the drama. That is, in essence, the old Premier Development League. Cristiano Francois appreciates the effort. It'll be a throw-in, and now we've got our first Blue City sub. Here in the 60th minute, Napo Matsoso coming in to replace Ray Serrano. Also coming on for Locomotive FC, Emma Sanupe. We're hearing he's coming in for Eric Albiol. And the veteran Richie Ryan making his return as well. And he will come in for Liam Rose. Like for like, 6 for 6. Liam Rose, 60 plus minutes here in El Paso. Richie Ryan getting a warm embrace from the crowd as he makes his way back onto the pitch.
You see the two veterans greet each other.
Yes.
Well, they have you know, when you've played as long as them and together as long, I mean, they have an ability to know and communicate that is nonverbal. You know, that just does not exist if you don't have that kind of experience and together and just in playing soccer for so many years at this level.
His 88th match in a Locomotive uniform. He's a Centurion in the championship as well. Over 100 matches played. Newton comes to Ryan, first touches a little awkward. Yuma waiting for Maris to flash over, but Maris an awkward touch. Has to go back and get it. Here's up to Lucho. Fox playing it forward, but Emma Sanupe freshly in the match, not quite on the same page.
And Sanupe is going to have to, with the offside strap, I'm sure hopefully he's been watching and figure out, okay, I'm going to time my runs, be ready for it. So I think that might have been a little bit of running through his mind as to not take off with put the burners on.
Two blonde Irishmen in the middle of the pitch. Ian McCabe and Richie Ryan. Ryan might be a little more ginger. McCabe, of course, that is not his natural color, as you could probably tell. El Chuco, the chant from 8th Notch. El Paso's Pachuco nickname. Of course, Pachuco culture, the Zoot Suit culture. A big deal emanating from this city back in the 1940s, making its way west to Los Angeles and California. But this is where it originated. El Paso, proudly El Chuco, Texas. Francois slips a bit but maintains control.
I wonder what boots he wears, because he tends to slip a little more than some of the other players. He might need a little and some new grip on those cleats.
A bit of a mixer, Blue City with a slip as well. Napo Matsoso finding the going a little tough. Here's Yuma. That beats the offside trap, but it's going to be well ahead of Lucho, who challenges Kyle Morton.
And Lucho
maybe
did
more out of frustration than anything else.
And Lucho did make a lateral run and bent it, but the ball still was just a little bit too deep centrally. If they want to do that ball and Lucho's going to have to run onto it, they need to play it a little bit to either side of the goal so that the keeper has a harder time. They have to decide, am I coming or am I staying home?
So not so up the middle.
Exactly.
Okay. Off on the wings a little bit, allow Lucho some space to run onto it as well. And here is Ander. Nice switch to Emma Sanupe. Man, part of the Tottenham Youth Academy. Englishman takes his man. Nice chip to the far post, but well met. Wes Sharpie keeping that out of trouble for Lou City. Manny Sanupe. Ready to challenge. Nice cutback. Looking for some light blue jerseys, or sky blue, as the case may be. Maris. Francois is fast, but he's not that fast.
He is, and that's where earlier there was a ball and then we ended up at the other end of the field. So what we used to like to say is use the corner flags, aim for the corner flags. That gives you the full length of the field to work with. So if the ball's a little bit too long and runs, usually still have time to get up to it. If the defender gets there first, well then you're pressuring them right at the corner. You know, you could still have a chance to earn a corner kick. So I think sometimes when they're trying to use the field, especially with this offside strap, you're trying to get in behind and it's so high you're running on. You want to aim aim towards the corner flags as far as setting those passes out there for our team to run onto.
Sanupe will win a throw. Locomotive trying to find some answers here in the 67th minute in El Paso, Texas. No goals in 3 matches so far, but this one will be tipped. It'll be corner kick coming up. Cristiano Francois gets that one deflected off McCabe. And Richie Ryan will come over to take this. Fresh legs for the Irishman. 37 years old. And still going. In swinging ball to the far post. Yuma gets ahead to that, but it's Yuma. He's 5'8". He did well enough. But not, say, Andrew Fox on the end of that pass. Cross. So Lou City with a couple of substitutions here in minute 68. Manny Perez's night is done, replaced by Jan-Erik Lanos. Also coming on, Enoch Bushalagusa for Niall McCabe. Trying to freshen the troops. Lou City, of course, 10 days off before they got to play this match after the summer, the Midsummer Classic versus Phoenix Rising. So lots of rest, and I know that they were here a couple of days early to try and get used to the desert and the El Paso heat.
A little different travel than most of the teams run into.
Indeed.
That's a huge time off and to get adjusted at a destination.
And a little bit of altitude as well. Locomotive around 3,500 feet is Manny Sinupe. That one drops for Lucho, can't do anything with it. Carlos Mogul keeping that one out of trouble. Locomotive FC trying desperately from making this a 3-match losing skid. They want to earn at least a point, get at least a result here at home. Obviously, a point of emphasis of any home team, but especially for the proud fans of Locomotive FC, right, Rachel? Rachel Phillips?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Duke. Naturally, if you play sport, you're competitive and you hate losing. Even more so to do it in front of your home crowd. The Locos so far this season have lost just 3 games at home. And Hutch said that's why the loss to San Antonio hurt so bad last week. He said the change room was absolutely gutted after it. They're on the precipice of another home game loss, but still plenty of time to turn things around and make the Loco faithful crowd happy again. Obviously, lots of sadness after that game and that loss last week, not only losing to San Antonio, but losing the Copateas Cup and their second back-to-back loss on the precipice of 3 games back-to-back losses.
Evan Newton trying to go, not necessarily Route 1, which would be up the middle, but maybe Route 1A off to the left. But again, the offside flag comes up. It's Locomotive's 8th offside of the night. We're in, and the offside flag coming up for the first time on Lou City. Won't be a step ahead of that Locomotive back line. A little pop trying to make a turn is Harris. Ownby. Bushalagusa. It's around Fox. Yuma's there. Fox is able to touch it out. And that is a foul drawn. Some good work by Dylan Maris. Lucho playing it ahead. Aron Gomez back to the Argentine. Lucho with some open space finds Sinupe. Sinupe crosses back and tapped out for a corner kick. Does well to draw the attention of Lou City, and certainly the wings is where Locomotive has found a lot of joy with Francois on the right and Manny Sinupe on the left.
And that is, Locomotive is looking to get the runs through the middle, but play the ball out to the flanks and then back central and get it in front of the goal.
Maris, and swinger taken down in the box is Fox. No call forthcoming. Fox taken down by Wes Sharpie. He'll play on, and now Emma Sinupe is down on the pitch. Contact or not, Sinupe, you saw him at the end of that replay starting to try and trot off. And it's a Texas Tech nod to the dock. Emma Sinupe, Manny, has had some injury issues this season and not what you want to see. Down to Rachel Phillips for more.
Yeah, Duke, that's exactly right. We actually saw him miss 9 games earlier in the season due to an injury. So some cause for concern here, seeing him down on the ground right now, especially after he's made some great touches here on the left sideline, up the flank and the wing. So hoping he can get back on his feet and continue to play. But they do have Edison Azcona getting ready to come onto the field as well, whether that be for Sinupe or just a substitution. We'll wait and see.
So the young man on loan from Miami in Major League Soccer, about to make his way onto the pitch. Edison Azcona, member of the Dominican Republic national team, and favoring that left, maybe hamstring, is Sinupe.
If it is that, those are tough injuries. If you tweak it, they're unforgiving.
And it will be Azcona in for Sinupe. Well, he gave it a go. And nothing in terms of contact. You saw at the end of that last replay, taking a look at that service into the box for Fox.
Right.
At the very edge of the top edge of it, he was starting to trot away. And then
he was kind of like moving his body and foot on the previous play after that ended. You know, you're like, oh, is something bothering him? Is he going to shake it off? But then obviously it was more than just a knock.
Edison Azcona is on, the 18-year-old. 5'6", just 130 pounds, but certainly brought in to be on the front foot for Locomotive FC as they look for the equalizer. Into the 75th minute, I would imagine we'll have a little bit of stoppage time near the end of this. But Locomotive looking for offensive answers. And so far, for 160 plus minutes, not finding many. Bounced around, it'll be a foul on Matt Boehner. He takes down Matsoso. Well, if it hasn't been one thing, it's been another this Locomotive season, whether that is injuries or runs of form. Lots of players out in the very beginning due to COVID concerns. Finding enough healthy bodies, such as the case again. Ownby! Oh my, deflected and just missed wide.
I have to say,
half chance in the outside of the foot, and he almost made it work.
He did, and Lou City, they have, ooh, that's a dangerous ball to play to.
Matsoso couldn't control it though, away from Ryan, yep.
But he says, give it to me again.
Here we go, keep feeding me. Into the middle. Aron Gomez off of him, Ownby. Right back down to El Paso. Francois. Lucho trying to switch the run. It's Sinupe. Not on that wing right now.
No.
It's over the top, an easy one for Evan Newton.
And I was going to say earlier, so Lou City, I have to say their restarts. You know, it's not straightforward like what you've seen with most teams that either look like they don't have a plan or their plan is always very similar. You know, they have some driven balls. They're looking to get that second touch, get another run in, and it just screws up the timing or the communication on the defensive team.
Well, Danny Cruz, an assistant for 4 seasons at Lou City. Interim head coach, finally got that label removed last year and has been an absolute, well, breath of fresh air for an organization that didn't need a whole lot more of it, frankly, because his record, it's 6 undefeated now. They have a better record on the road than they have their prior few seasons, leading in a position here in El Paso as Yuma's taken down and the caution issued to Mushagalusa. So Mushagalusa shown the yellow card here in the 78th minute. And another Texas Tech nod to the dock for another player for Locomotive FC who's had his own injury issues this year. Yuma allowed to stay on. Maris. Francois. Ryan to Yuma. Ascona, first touches of the match. To Maris, curls one over the top. Can Francois get there? He cannot. Good thought by Dylan Maris, but
that was a great turn by Ascona to get the ball back central and across. I even would have liked, he even might have had a little bit longer pass when he did make that turn, and then maybe had beaten the defense a step quicker to try to get a chance forward. But we're kind of, I like the idea and the speed of play.
Yuma. Locomotive 3-1-3 versus Eastern Conference competition this season. Their only loss to Eastern Conference competition earlier this year on the road at Pittsburgh. But losing now to Lou City at Southwest University Park.
Back, play.
Francois, nice step on the pass from Ander. Chipped ball over the top. Too far. Split the difference between Ascona and Lucho. Both were right there, but Morton off his line in a hurry to make sure it didn't go any further. And that was onside. Ownby. Off of Ryan. Does well to stand in the way of that one from Tyler Gibson. Yuma. Quick switch out to the left, and here is Foxy. Andrew Fox. Maris. Knocked around. Locomotive wants to come in from the right. Francois. Maris and Ryan. The ball over the top. Ascona on the left now. And on the byline. To Fox. Trying to find a way to cross. Back it comes Ascona. Curls one in. Pushed down in the box. Francois there. Play on. Aaron Gomez knocked down. Dangerous by Francois, but no blue jerseys in the vicinity. Knocked out by Lou City. Good work to control by Harris. Wins that back between two Locomotive defenders, but the pass trying to find Matsoso is off target. Over the top. Flag is up. Doesn't matter. Lucho's irate.
But Lucho needs to keep his head level.
And a substitution for Locomotive FC. Noé Coutinho coming on to replace Cristiano Francois. Sent down to Rachel Phillips for more on this recently graduated senior in high school. Rachel?
Yeah, Duke, Noé Coutinho, just 18 years old, graduated from Franklin High School, like you said, recently. This will actually be his last game with the El Paso Locomotive. He heads off to the University of Vermont early next week. So his last professional game with the El Paso Locomotive, at least for now. looking to make an immediate impact here in the last 10 or so minutes of this game. So far, he's played 6 games for the Locomotive this season. He's had 5 shots, 3 of those on goal. None of them have actually come off, but at least he's got a high percentage of when he shoots, he at least gets it on goal. So Noah Coutinho in his last game for the El Paso Locomotive looking to make an impact.
Also coming on for Lou City, Paulo Del Piccolo. He's replacing Jorge Gonzalez. Haven't called Gonzalez's name a whole lot over these, really, since the second half whistle blew. So we'll see what Del Piccolo is able to give, 31 years of age. But from 31 to 18, Noe Coutinho, best to the young man as he heads his way to the northeast of our country.
So something of note is my very first Division I NCAA college game that I started and played was at UVM.
How about
at the
that?
University of Vermont. I remember it vividly.
I bet you do. Those are things you never forget.
No, you do not.
Well, the foul whistled is taken down as Ascona. Bent over backwards a bit. I believe by Gibson. The Locomotive, minutes to go and try to make something of what is so far nothing. Good work by Fox. That cross will go over and be knocked out for a corner kick.
And that was a great idea. I mean, good ball by Ander out to Fox. He gets that touch and gets a step on the defender and says, I'm just going to strike that across. Locomotive needs to be prepared and get to that sooner, beat the defender to the ball. That early ball in is going to be one of their best chances.
Native of Louisville, Elijah Winder knocking that over the byline. That's knocked up and over the bar. It'll be a goal kick. Getting a touch. For El Paso was on there.
And Locomotive finally wins the ball in the box. It is not on frame, but it is at least first to the ball, committing to be first to the ball and create that chance.
Elijah, the younger brother of Josh Winder, mid-season player of the year, young player of the year for the USL Championship, out with an injury tonight. Well, Louisville City has made that goal stick up. 52nd minute. Strike for Gonzalez. Obviously scoring the goal. We said earlier that hadn't heard from him for a whole lot. Well, not since the goal necessarily, but he's got that. And it's so far the match winner. Here in minute 86. Jimenez with the throw. Onby, Matsoso. Knocked over for Onby. Flag stays down. Matsoso and Onby. Little two-man game before the long cross. Mushagalusa. Goal kick coming, but the chance is starting to evaporate for Locomotive FC. Has to be an all-out push forward now. Yuma winds up with that one back and out of the back. Trucking his way forward, Aron Gomez, and a little not-so-friendly push on Manny Perez as Kyle Morton comes to save the day. Perez, great work. He's been playing hard all night long. Striker, that's Wes Sharpie, has also been out there, but Sharpie stride for stride with Aron Gomez, and that's not easy to do.
And that's where, you know, I think we kind of talked about last match against San Antonio. San Antonio had a knack for trying to draw fouls. Not that Gomez doesn't draw his own, but a little bit more wily If you know you can't beat the defender, can you stay on the ball and somehow create that kind of contact?
Ushigalosa to the byline, off the side netting. Gets a deflection, it'll be a corner kick coming for Lou City. And into the 88th minute, Locomotive. Ushigalosa apparently a little irate after some contact, being told by his teammates, shake it off. 22-year-old from Kinshasa.
And he would like to score. I have it down that he had scored the 4th hat trick in their club history against the Red Bulls too. So he likes to be on the board.
Some great work to sidestep his way and dance his way into the edge of the 6-yard box. Restart, they'll work it out. Trying to push that over the top, it's Ombi. And another corner coming for Lou City. Yuma gets it to touch, that touch over the byline. 89th minute. Lou City content to take its time, certainly here. Another corner coming. Well, since that great bit of work versus then West Division contending Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, they're still atop or over Locomotive in the West standings, but right up near the top. A 1-0 Locomotive win July 9th. Locomotive has yet to score a goal. You certainly don't want it to be 180 minutes, including 180 minutes here in El Paso without finding the back of the net. That extends to 270, including that match at Oakland.
And that's definitely something they are going to have to figure out if they're going to have success in the second half of the season.
Darting run tried by Maris to no avail. Yuma taken away by Onby. Ushigalosa here. Up top to Onby. Fires for the bottom corner and just missed it.
I know he wants that one back.
Well, Onby.
The goal was almost too big.
A couple of Virginia natives facing each other, and Onby and Evan Newton. And Onby stretching out those 32-year-old legs in frustration. It's hard to do after playing 90 on a warm evening. We'll see what our stoppage time is. 4 minutes. Onby. There does well to give Evan Newton a chance. Locomotive looking for answers. What do you do here? 4 minutes of stoppage time. What's worked, what's not? Here's Dylan Maris. We'll see. Maris. Hopeful. Ascona swings it back and earns a corner. Nope. Looks like it's a goal kick as Locomotive players surround Gabriel Giusti. Giusti saying that it was, he saw the touch.
I think.
Do you?
They're wanting some kind of foul, maybe, or
maybe a handball. Well, let's see.
Oh, yep.
My!
Ooh,
that is
was a
very
handball.
much.
Ooh,
it is a corner kick though for Locomotive FC.
For sure.
And some contact in the box. Looks like we'll have to retake the corner. My goodness gracious. Touched pretty clearly, but missed. It was behind.
Wouldn't this have been interesting if they had I mean, the arm is clearly away from the body.
Wow.
And that could have been a
Elijah
major
Winder
game changer.
knocking that back over the byline. Locomotive in tight. Out it comes. The shot deflected. Looking for another handball. They won't give it. Out up top. That was Maris. Rather Ascona. Ascona Should be pointed out, 2 matches, 2 yellow cards for the young man. He's fiery. Had a big opportunity there. It'll be interesting to take a look at another replay. But yes, that was Elijah Winder winding up and putting that ball over the back line.
Locomotive has done a much better at timing, not being offsides on timing their runs a little better.
Good work here by Richie Ryan. Got to find Coutinho.
That's a tricky ball to receive over your shoulder like that.
90 seconds to go. Locomotive trying to pull out the stops here. Fox to keep it alive to Yuma. Ryan up to the middle. Gomez played well in the back, trying to scoot it back, and Ryan does well to knock that away from Gibson. Yuma to see this one through. Just over a minute left of stoppage time by the watch of Gabriel Giusti. Second straight week with a controversial non-call. Coutinho can't chase that down in time, and takes out a bit of the dirt track around the dugouts. Under a minute remaining. Kyle Morton to put this back in play.
Lucho is trying to talk with the goalkeeper.
Into doing something, I guess. Here's Boehner. Locomotive throw coming. Seconds remaining. Under half a minute for Locomotive FC. Ryan. Boehner did well but lost a handle on it as it's lifted out into touch by Jimenez. Last chance saloon. Maris. Ander and Maris. Into the box it goes. Headed out to Yuma. Yuma, the Spaniard, will give it a ride and over the top of the net. And that is it. Over 270 minutes without a goal for Locomotive FC, as Lou City comes to El Paso and earns a 1-0 win, not without controversy, but still, Locomotive must solve its goal-scoring woes, Heidi.
They must. I have to say they were able to create more chances this week than the past matches, but it has to get into the back of the net. There has to be the result. There has to be, or you can have, even playing a team that's not at the top of the table, that doesn't create so many chances like Louisville City does, you're still going to end up at the best with a draw, and you might end up with a loss. They have got to sort it out. I do love how the effort, the passion, at this end part of the match, I mean, you saw emotion, you saw passion, you saw energy, you saw them trying to be ruthless, but they just didn't get that result in the back of the net.
What do you think might the answer be for this Locomotive team? I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right?
It is. I mean, I know, like we said, Lucho now this is his second match back. Maybe his timing has been off. I mean, there's been a lot of changing in personnel, so it's a lot of timing. But coach talks about they all know the principles. One of those is quick trigger, shots on goal, and put it in the back of the net.
Louisville City earning the win. It's Locomotive FC 0, Lou City 1. Stick around. More post-game coming up right after this. Welcome back to Southwest University Park. That look says it all. Porous, a tall one. Lou City with a 1-0 win over Locomotive FC here in the desert. So we take a quick look at our full match stats. Shots on target, 4-4. Total shots, roughly even. Shot accuracy, offsides, obviously. Locomotive had plenty of those. And more of the possession in the second half, Heidi. It just wasn't there.
It just wasn't. And Locomotive, you know, they figured out the offsides a little bit, but it still was a little thorn in their side a little bit of this match. So they're just going to have to sort out how to get those shots, not just on target, but in the back of the net.
Let's head down to our estrella of the match, and that would be Yuma with Rachel Phillips.
Locos fans, we have your estrella of the match. It's your captain in Yuma. Yuma, a really tough game out there. I know, I can see how much you're hurting right now. 3 back-to-back losses, but there has been some improvement in those 3 games. What have you seen?
Yuma, un partido muy difícil. Vemos cómo está sintiendo este partido. 3 derrotas corridas. ¿Cómo te estás sintiendo en estos momentos?
No, solo pedir perdón a todos ustedes. Vamos a intentar ganar. Sorry.
He says that he's really sorry for back-to-back losses. And we hope that you guys keep supporting the team. Thank you.
And we know, Locomotive fans, that you will keep supporting the team. You can hear how loud and proud you are right now for your El Paso Locomotive. They've got 2 away games, and they'll be back at home against San Diego.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and obviously an emotionally distraught. You talked about it, Heidi. Apologizing, saying sorry to the fans in English after saying that they will not quit. As we take a look at our physical play of the match, brought to you by Physical Hand and Therapy Centers, and it is our estrella of the match, Yuma, as you might expect. Hampering every step of the way. Wilson Harris gives up the opportunity to Harris, who kind of outstripped him for the ball, but stuck with it. And then your GECU save of the game coming up shortly. Yuma all over Wilson Harris there. Your save of the game on the restart, that's Harris again, and that's Evan Newton. Couldn't keep the clean sheet tonight, but it was the one on the quick restart, showing those quick reflexes. Evan Newton. Your GECU save of the game, McCabe delivered a nice ball. As we do our Brian Birds moving into the next match, Locomotive on the road for the next few weeks. That was a positive result, though, here in El Paso versus Monterey Bay FC, as Locomotive earned more than 1 goal trying to make it work on August the 6th in Northern California.
Yeah,
Heidi?
Duke, there is no easy games in this league, and even though Monterey Bay is at the bottom of the table, El Paso will prepare for this match as if it were a final. The Locos need to continue picking up points to position themselves for a playoff push. You have to like this matchup if you're an El Paso fan. The first match in April was probably Locomotive's most dominant performance of the season with a 5-0 win. What was even more impressive was that they held their opponent to 0 shots for the entire game. This would be a good opportunity for El Paso to fix their road woes against a team that they have already dominated before.
Trying to make that happen. Our Brian Birds moving into the next match coming your way. Don't forget to look for the Locos watch parties. I believe it's at Union Draft House off Summerlin Park for next weekend, as we know the fans will be back. Locomotive FC dropping 1 to Lou City. It is Locomotive FC 0, Lou City 1 here in El Paso, Texas. For Juan Gutierrez, our producer, our director Cesar Ruiz, for Rachel Phillips and Heidi Mocha, I'm Duke Keith. Here from El Paso, Texas. So long, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.